Let's see if I can do this one. I've not read it before.
You never know what you're going to get. You never know what type of night it's going to be.
No open mic that I can think of is exactly like the other.
Is anyone watching Love Island at the moment?
Maybe they know something we all don't about the coming zombie apocalypse.
Show it again! Show it again! You can do better than that.
Where else are you going to hear new ideas, new expressions?
It's alive, like you can't get that kind of thing anywhere else.
The environment in a live space is so great.
You're just going to see people pouring their heart out in like the best artistic way. You're going to feel things, you're going to laugh and you might cry.
All right. So spoken word poetry is poetry read aloud in any kind of format. And that's really broad and that's good.
Sometimes I find poetry feels like a distilled version of an emotion or a feeling or a situation. I often describe like artworks or films or situations as poetic if I feel like it's a really concentrated version of it. But an actual poem, like written form, is just like a written and concentrated version of something the writer wants to say.
What is poetry?
Poetry is literally like, like, I don't know. I don't like that question.
For me, poetry is freedom of expression. Like just non-adherence to the rules, like personally.
The very flippant answer to that is that it's emotions with line breaks. But to me, it's about it's being able to express yourself using language in whatever form that might be.
It's about being able to put out how you're feeling about anything at any time in any way, and it doesn't matter if it's to be accepted by other people or not, because poetry is something that's just for you.
Poetry is one of the purest forms of expression, and all you need are words. That's poetry.
This is for the ugly girls, the bloated girls, the girls who vape, the girls who have vaped so many watermelon Lost Marys on nights out that now watermelon makes them nauseous, the girls who pay for their drinks, the girls who refuse to pay for their drinks, the girls who delete and then immediately re-download Tinder, the girls who aren't sure if they are girls, the girls who are questioning, the citalopram girls, the sertraline girls, the girls who love girls, the girls who cut their hair, the girls who are on OnlyFans, the girls who are making bank.
Well, Tyrone, the Poetry Open Mic is where a bunch of weirdos, let's say, come to a venue to read their very strange poems.
You're in a space, there is a microphone, and people can go up and perform anything they want. Some nights it's music and poetry, some nights just poetry, some just music. Sometimes there's like guests who do a longer set, sometimes not.
Really, it can have features, but it's not a proper open mic unless there is some opportunity for every member of the audience to take part in what's going on. There might be various restrictions on what kind of work is done. Most of the stuff that I'm familiar with, it's poetry or spoken word. Some people also allow things like songs. I haven't yet seen any interpretative dance, but like, I'm sure that plenty of open mics are amenable to that.
Okay, we're going to church. And now, to take your mind off things, here is the world's largest scavenger hunt. Here is a hilarious skiing accident. Here is a yell with a human attached. Here is a charity boxing match umpired by some fabulous queens serving tin pot dictatorial realness. Here is the dance craze that's sweeping the nation one shattered femur at a time. Here are a series of phone videos of landslides from around the world. The word help heard in 25 languages. Here is you being fed to you, the phone forever preserving your mouth in your single most iconic scream. One clap.
Poetry Open Mic is the best place to experience poetry for the first time, I think. It's that wonderful community space where people can write and share what they've written and get support and feedback and all those wonderful, lovely community fuzzy feelings all together all at once.
I know it definitely is a place where people come, especially maybe when they're starting out, you know, and they want to gain experience and have the feeling of sharing something they've maybe written at home alone with a crowd and see how they react.
Find community with people who also want to write and share, and I think massively the community aspect of it is what I primarily find the point of it to be.
People can join, poets of all levels, whether you're a newbie or a veteran or somewhere in between, can come and share their words, either by heart or from their phones or their books, to an audience of somewhat willing people who want to listen to words.
All right, please can we give it up for the kangaroo? Give it up for Sumner Brook!
I have prepared for you tonight a delectable assortment of new shit. Welcome to Sumner's Micro Cabaret. Dear Oatly, in your latest ad, I read the phrase, "Nothing feels better than oat milk in the morning." Clearly, your copywriters have never experienced simultaneous multiple orgasm. If you would like to correct that, my number is 075.
I think I've been to so many open mics now that this is going to sound really weird. The quality of the poetry is not the thing that's going to make me go back to the open mic. For me, it's about the community and the experience of being in the community. So the thing that will make me go back is just feeling a good feeling, just a good vibe.
Oh, it's got to be all about audience, the crowd. For me, whether I've gone to an event to perform or not, if there's a big buzz and like lots of people like hugging or telling each other how great things were, like for me, that's the kind of night I want to go back to, because you don't get that everywhere.
What makes me want to come back is the people that I meet. Everyone wants to meet each other, and everyone wants to talk, and everyone wants to, share, and everyone wants to tell others how much they love their poetry, and I think that's the beauty of it.
If I go in and I can sense there's some sort of community there. I think Spoken Word London, the one that used to be at Vogue Fabrics in Dalston before the pandemic, had a sort of vibe of, the thing people said is support first, listen second. That the support, people feeling supported, is actually more important than their poetry. Think about it for long enough and it makes sense. But I think that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for.
It's not a coincidence that you do start to bump into very similar people at nights. I think that we're all drawn to particular types of things, whether that be the hosts, whether that be the openness of the nature of the night, people that you just become very comfortable around.
A lot of us are othered and on the outside of society maybe, and looking for an opportunity to be heard, to have a captive audience. And then once you've started doing that and you've started down that path, you then join a community, at which point you keep going and going and going, because that's where your friends are, that's where your frenemies are, that's where your outright nemesis is. You just keep going back and you kind of fall in love with it.
This first one is new. It's also unusual because it's angry, and I don't normally do angry stuff.
Angry shit.
That was my phone. It's called Queer Stab at It. I call you babe. You hate that. Don't you man me, man, don't mate me. Sir doesn't want it. I call you babe, I know that hate. Fuck the framing, I tell you babe. Growing like a straight bow, Sir doesn't want it.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna do it in 3. So 3 things that I love about an open mic that make me want to keep coming back. I feel like good hosts, people who keep the night running on time and keep the audience feeling safe and welcome.
good general performers. You always get some regulars at open mics, and so if the regulars are quite high quality, then you know you're going to have some good stuff. And good headliners. Most open mic nights bring headliners, so I'll always go to a night where there's someone headlining that I think is brilliant, because I always want to support.
I like an open mic to be like a football match rather than a theatre show. I like it to be rowdy. I like it to be raucous. I like it to have a lot of energy, but in a way that is organised. Some open mics that haven't worked so well for me in the past go so far off the rails that you're like, okay, we've missed the last train home.
I think I like them when they don't go too long and they're not too far from my house. Practical reasons.
Different people, everyone has a busy schedule, it's London. But to be able to find something like, actually, yeah, I'm free and it's kind of near me, I will try and go.
For me, it's about the energy of the host is often a key part of it. I don't like going to a night where I feel like the host hasn't brought the energy, where they haven't brought the excitement.
I have kept coming back to a few open mics in a very dedicated fashion, largely because there are really good poets who go there who I will be entertained by and who I will enjoy seeing perform and performing with, who are generally attracted because they also like the host and the performing environment that they create.
Okay, so we are now going to play my favorite game. You sigh, but you love it. So this game that we are going to play is called Is It a Sandwich? So this is how we decide on the last open micer of the round. So it's very simple. I am going to attach a sandwich adjacent item to each of the potential open micers, and you guys get to vote on which of them is more like a sandwich. It makes perfect sense. It will now. So, we're going to start off very simple. Your combatants are a burrito versus a Cornish pasty. I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to mull it over. Debate during the break. 3, 2, 1. All right, make some noise for Cornish pasty. Make some noise for burrito. Okay, burrito has it. Make some noise for Seb, everybody!
There's no right or... There are wrong ways to be a host. There is no right way to be a host. But there are things you can do that are right as a host.
Someone once said to me that a good play teaches you how to watch it. And I think it's the same for any event where there is an audience and performers are a host. And I think that's what the host does, is a host will guide you in that experience.
Obviously, a good host should have amazing dress sense and should set the tone for the people who come on stage in terms of what kind of things they wear. Aside from that, yeah, I mean, a host sets the tone for the whole night.
For me, what I really value is creating a place of warmth. I try really hard whenever I'm hosting a gig to, in a way, kind of make a fool of myself a little bit, just so that everyone knows it's a safe space to kind of be a bit silly and to let loose and to feel at ease.
The host is what will be making people feel safe, certainly for their initial sort of first 5 minutes at the event. When they come and sign up, might be their first time in the venue, might be their first time ever at an open mic night, might be their 100th time coming to your open mic night. But that first sort of 10 minutes where you're meet and greeting people is really important because it sets the tone for everything.
You're the person who's welcoming the audience and the performers in. Like you have to include the audience, but you have to also make sure that all your performers are really happy and excited to be there. Without a good host, things can fall apart really quickly. I think it's really important to have like a really good, and it's friendliness mostly, like a kind person always makes me feel better.
Like, they run the night, so whatever type of energy or vibe it's going to be will 100% come from the host, and where the host takes it, and poets will perform what they will, but it's on the host, I think, really to, just keep everything going and keep everyone in it and, make sure that it's not 20 hours long.
As
always will bewilder me. In a first, the good version of this, make some noise if you've been to protest before. Perfect.
Welcome back, family.
And then
Good to have you.
the truly bewildering one, make some noise if this is your first time to process. How is that a thing? How are we attracting? I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just confused.
It's a cult.
In the best
That's
way.
how.
I'm glad word of mouth has been good. I'm glad we seem professional. We're not. But
I am extremely professional. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're the professional one. The camera gear may scream professional, but this is chaos and nothing's going
We
on
don't
properly
claim to be
here.
anything other than chaos, but I
That
think
is true.
chaos. Look, if chaos was a profession, we're professionals.
A night is made when your host is a good host. Like, as much as the artwork itself is why we're all here, if the host is not doing their job correctly, you can feel it.
I think a lot of people who organise an open mic have not necessarily got the experience of hosting, and they think it's more about the production of the open mic and like the producing elements, which are really important. But then they don't think that the host is that value or like that necessary, and they just kind of put themselves in that role, and that's not always the best, I don't think.
The host is incredibly important and is not really given enough credit for how important they are.
Some hosts, I think, forget that the event isn't for them and it's not for the poets, the event's for the audience. And if you forget that, if it's all about the poetry, it's all about the poets, then it becomes more a showcase of showing off rather than a community space.
I guess a lot of the job is invisible, but also providing a positive atmosphere for people to express themselves is very important. So I think, yeah, the host is about creating a safe space, arguably more than poetry, though a lot of the hosts I know are also good poets in and of themselves.
And so they really kind of make a bit of a sacrifice in every time that they're hosting, because they have to like not actually be able to participate in the same manner that everybody else gets to. So they really take it on themselves. I think it's quite an admirable thing.
I think just like a host can be so powerful in also just saying why these nights are important, and thanking people for coming. We sort of want to stand with poets, like we sort of say like we are also performers, we're going to be performing as well.
The hosts basically run shit in every sense of the word, and like as someone that has had to do that role, I don't envy it at all.